Ferrari may have just found the one upgrade Mercedes did not want to see before Austria. Not a small gain, not a normal improvement, a power gain big enough to make the entire paddock look twice. And if the reports are right, Hamilton and Leclerc are not reacting like drivers who just received another routine update. They are reacting like two drivers who suddenly know Ferrari has something much more dangerous in its hands because Mercedes is already fighting reliability fears. Red Bull is already under pressure. McLaren is trying to stay close. And now Ferrari may have unlocked the kind of engine improvement that changes everything before the Austrian Grand Prix. But here's the real shock. A faster Ferrari does not just help Hamilton attack, it could completely change how Mercedes races. Because if Ferrari has truly tripled its engine power gain, Wolff cannot rely on track position, clean strategy, or Mercedes' early season advantage anymore. He has to worry about Hamilton on the straights, Leclerc in qualifying, and a Ferrari package that may have arrived at the worst possible moment for everyone else. So, Austria is no longer just another race. It may be the weekend Ferrari stops chasing and starts threatening the entire championship. Subscribe to the channel. Ferrari should not be entering Austria with this kind of attention. That is what makes the story so dangerous, because for most of the season, the championship pressure has been aimed somewhere else. Mercedes has been leading. Wolff has been answering questions about reliability. Russell and Antonelli have been dealing with lost points, battery fears, and the pressure of protecting a championship lead that suddenly looks less comfortable than it should. Ferrari for a while looked like the hunter, close enough to matter, fast enough to worry people, reliable enough to stay alive, but not yet the team everyone feared most. Now that could be changing because if Ferrari has really found a major engine gain before the Austrian Grand Prix, the entire shape of the weekend changes before the cars even leave the garage. And the reason is simple. Power changes confidence. It changes how a driver attacks a straight. It changes how late he can defend. It changes how much pressure he can put on the car ahead. It changes qualifying. It changes race starts. It changes strategy. It changes how rivals behave when they see red in their mirrors. And for Hamilton and Leclerc, that matters more than anyone because both drivers know what Ferrari has been missing at different moments. They know what it feels like to have a strong car that still needs one more weapon. They know what it feels like to be close, but not close enough. They know that in Formula One, one upgrade can move a team from hoping for a chance to forcing everyone else to react. That is why the idea of Ferrari tripling its engine power gain sounds so dramatic. Not because one number magically wins a race, but because the timing is brutal. Austria arrives when Mercedes is already dealing with questions it did not want. The Mercedes car has pace, but the engine data and reliability pattern have created doubt. Russell has already lost a race from the lead. Antonelli has already suffered a sudden shutdown while running near the front. Wolff has already admitted that a team cannot fight for a championship if cars keep losing huge points every other race. That means Mercedes does not just need speed in Austria. Mercedes needs control, and a stronger Ferrari threatens that control immediately. Because a power gain does not only help Ferrari go faster, it forces Mercedes to make harder choices. If Hamilton is closer on the straights, Mercedes may have to defend earlier. If Leclerc is stronger in qualifying, Mercedes may lose the clean air it desperately wants. If Ferrari can attack without overworking the tires, Mercedes may be forced into strategy decisions it would rather avoid. That is how an upgrade becomes pressure, not by winning the race on paper, by making the rival uncomfortable before the race is even settled. And this is where Hamilton becomes the most dangerous part of the story. Hamilton does not need to be told what extra power means. He has spent his career understanding tiny advantages and turning them into something bigger. Give him a car that is more confident on the straights, and he will use it to pressure braking zones. Give him better deployment, and he will use it to stay close when another driver expects to escape. Give him stronger race pace, and he will turn every lap into a question for the car ahead. Can you keep me behind? That is the kind of pressure Mercedes cannot afford right now, because Mercedes is already dealing with uncertainty. And uncertainty becomes worse when a rival is close enough to attack. A team can manage risk more calmly when it has a gap. A team with a perfectly reliable car can absorb pressure differently. It can push, defend, counterattack, change modes, respond to undercuts, and race aggressively, without constantly worrying that the car might not survive. But Mercedes is not in that emotional place right now. Mercedes has already lost major points through failures. Russell has already felt a race disappear from the lead. Antonelli has already seen a strong result vanish late in the race. Wolff has already admitted that losing huge points every other race is not championship-winning behavior. So, if Ferrari arrives with more power, the question is not just whether Ferrari can attack. The question is whether Mercedes can respond without increasing its own risk. That is the trap. If Mercedes tells its drivers to push harder, the power unit concern becomes louder. If Mercedes tells its drivers to manage, Ferrari may attack harder. If Mercedes adds margin for reliability, it may give away speed. If Mercedes chases speed, it may reduce the safety cushion around the systems already under pressure. There is no clean answer. And that is why Hamilton and Leclerc become so important in this story, because both drivers would use a power gain in different dangerous ways. Hamilton is the pressure driver. He does not need to make every move immediately. He can sit close. He can make the car ahead nervous. He can show himself in the mirrors lap after lap until the defending driver starts thinking more about Hamilton than about his own race. That is one of Hamilton's greatest weapons. He turns presence into pressure. He makes a rival feel hunted. And if Ferrari now gives him more power, that presence becomes even harder to ignore. Mercedes knows this better than anyone. Wolff knows what Hamilton does when he smells weakness. He knows how patient Hamilton can be. He knows how quickly Hamilton can turn a small technical advantage into a psychological one. And before Austria, that should worry Mercedes, because Hamilton does not need Mercedes to make a huge mistake. He only needs them to make the kind of small, defensive, nervous decisions that happen when a team is trying to protect too many things at once. Protect the championship lead, protect the power unit, protect Antonelli, protect Russell's confidence, protect track position, protect the tires, protect the strategy. That is too much protection. And when a team starts protecting everything, it can forget how to attack cleanly. On the other hand, Leclerc brings a different kind of threat. He can make a weekend dangerous before the race even begins. If the Ferrari power gain gives him more confidence in qualifying, he can put the car higher on the grid. And at a circuit like Austria, that matters enormously. Starting position can decide whether a driver controls the race or spends the afternoon fighting through traffic. Near the front changes Ferrari's entire strategic picture. It gives them options. One Ferrari can attack, the other can pressure strategy. One can force Mercedes to cover early, the other can extend a stint. One can make Russell defend, the other can threaten Antonelli. And if Mercedes has to split its attention between Hamilton and Leclerc, the race becomes much harder to control. That is when a team starts making compromises. And Formula One championships are often lost through compromises that looked reasonable at the time. Cover Hamilton and Leclerc becomes a threat. Cover Leclerc and Hamilton gets clean air. Protect Antonelli and Russell may feel exposed. Give Russell freedom, and Antonelli's lead may come under pressure. Push the engine and reliability becomes the fear. Manage the engine and Ferrari becomes the danger. That is the chessboard Ferrari wants to create. Not just a faster car, a more complicated race for Mercedes. Because Mercedes is already carrying a heavy burden into Austria. Their lead is real, but the feeling around it has changed. Earlier in the season, their advantage looked like control. Now, after failures and lost points, it looks more fragile. And when a lead feels fragile, every rival improvement seems larger than it might have felt before.